New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert here with you, making all kinds of mistakes to get us started here on the good news. It's been a while, as Reverend Barbara Jean has stepped in to be the primary host of this program, and I want to send a shout out to her. Thank you so much, dear one, for stepping in and stepping up and taking the good news to good places. And I get to fill in occasionally. Reverend Barbara is up in Canada, Banff, Canada, currently with the Centers for Spiritual Living SOAR retreat. We wish her well and happy travels and great connections. And you get me this week, and you get me next week as well. So I promise I'll be a little better prepared with the slides for next week. So thank you for joining us here on The Good News. Happens every Friday evening, part of the New Thought Media Network. Let's jump right into it here tonight. See, hey, I got it right. There we go. Okay. For 10 million worldwide patients with Parkinson's disease, news is emerging out of Japan that a large pharmaceutical corporation is seeking approval for a new stem cell-based treatment. It's very encouraging. Now, following a successful clinical trial in which seniors between the ages of 50 and 59 years of age received injections of induced pluripotent stem cells, calling it IPS for short, I like that, they saw either a halting or a reversal of symptoms. Sumitomo Pharma has applied for manufacturing and marketing authorization in Japan and the United States. Parkinson's is a debilitating neurodegenerative disease characterized by a progression of loss of dopamine-producing cells that result in a loss of motor functions. You see Michael J. Fox and Muhammad Ali here, both two very famous advocates for stem cell research and other Parkinson's-related research as they both deal with the disease. In a clinical trial, IPS from healthy donors were programmed to form dopamine-producing cells lost in Parkinson's cases and given in the form of 2 shots, one in each side of the brain. That sounds painful. However, current available therapies improve symptoms without slowing or halting the disease. This is said to perhaps reverse the disease, halt the disease, not reverse it, but halt it. Good news coming for those that suffer from Parkinson's. So grateful that this is happening. Good stuff. Hey, here's an interesting story I found. Now, remember, folks, we get most of our stories off of the Good News Network. You can check them out over at goodnewsnetwork.org. That's where we get most of our stories. Check them out. Give them some of the love and the attention they deserve. All right. In 10 minutes, UN tsunami warning systems notified millions of people in East Asia following the recent earthquake off the coast of Russia. And we have the wrong copy here. I guess that says it all. The UN's tsunami warning system worked. Sorry, folks, again, we're having a fun night here around New Thought Media Network because I'm making all kinds of mistakes. Forgot to copy over my notes for that story, so I don't have the particulars for it. But again, we kind of get it all from the headline there in just 10 minutes, which is crucial for a tsunami warning system. People are saved. Good news. All right, let's see what's next. Let's see if I got this story right. Oh, all the pieces seem to be here on this one. The city of Helsinki has announced that they've gone a full year without a traffic death. The success is being attributed to a multifaceted approach by city and residents that involves lower speed limits, public transport improvements, and better street planning. This will never work in the U.S. We don't like to slow down, and we definitely don't like public transport. But we could get on board, couldn't we, the U.S.? Yes. Here's the story. Back in the 1980s, the city saw around 30 fatalities a year and hundreds of injurious crashes and collisions. Over the years, public transportation systems like buses and trams improved, became more comfortable, and fewer people relied on their cars to get around. Now, similarly, cars themselves became safer for the passengers, and deaths were still routine, as were calls for accidents and such. Over time, a focus on street safety led to lower speed limits along more and more city lanes. They reduced their speed limits from 30 miles an hour to 18 miles an hour. My gosh. The results of all of this are over the last 12 months, ending in July, there has not been a single traffic fatality in the city. What good news is that? Now, the city's approach has been to constantly update as new trends emerge as far as road design, electric scooters, e-bicycles, and heavier pedestrian traffic. Good news for Helsinki. We got to love saving lives. Saving lives. That's what it's all about. Hey, here's some more good news that we found, and I love this story. This is flashing back to a story that was originally reported on by the Good News Network back in 2015. It's called The Rising Tide Car Wash in Florida. And 10 years after the launch, founder John DeAries' original vision has been shared by thousands of people, both on and we're no longer going to use that word. So with folks with autism, folks that utilize autism to create different, I don't want to call it a spectrum anymore. So people across from Florida, washing, buffing, waxing at the Margate, Parkland, and Coral Springs, and a new location being opened in 2026, Pompano Bay. Rising Tide now employs 90 neurodivergent adults. There's the term I was looking for. Thank you. Fathers, mothers, people from around the country know their neurodivergent children are being accepted into the workplace like never before. And all thanks to one man's vision. John, thank you so much for bringing forward this great car wash. Wow. Cool. Folks, we need to take a quick break and let a couple sponsors say hello before we get into more of the good news. But we do have more coming, so please don't go away. Stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages. And we're back with more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Dr. Robert. Thanks for being with us here this evening. I've got a story here that just warmed my heart. It starts a long, long time ago because recently, I want to introduce you to Dan Pelzer. Dan just recently made his transition in early July of this year at the age of 92. And over the years, Dan kept a list of books that he read. Now, his goal, as he would say it, was that he was reading 100 pages every day. I've looked at the list of books at almost at 3,600, 3,500, 3,599. One book shy. I'm so sorry. I wish we had one. I'm sure he read one before he started the list, right? And what folks have done is the list of his books was left to a local library. Now, much of it is handwritten up to a certain point before typewriters came along, and then a lot of it is typewritten. It takes a bit of deciphering, but you can check out ebook version now of his book, and it's all at whatdanread.com. Yup, whatdanread.com. We're going to put that in the chat link of tonight's program so you could take a look at notes. But check out whatdanread.com. Over 40 years of tracking all his books. Wow. Part of Dan's personal reading rules was that a book once opened had to be finished. And his wife, Marcy, remembers he noted Ulysses by James Joyce as being the worst slog of all times. Don't know that if I've ever gotten all the way through Ulysses either. So I don't think you're alone there, Dan. Good work. It's keeping up with it all. All right. Hey, here's another good news story we want to make sure that we share with you here tonight. A pair of lives that diverge down different paths have now become unlikely partners and merged with a common cause. 60-year-old Willette Bedford spent 24 years of her life in an Illinois prison until a change in state laws expedited her release. While behind bars, Ms. Bedford earned her GED and an associate's degree, became an ordained minister, and provided much needed counseling to support her fellow inmates. When she was released, she entered a residential program called the Grace House. It's a nonprofit ministry that provides housing, counseling, and other critical support for women who are exiting the Illinois prison system. Stacking successes, she was soon hired as a legislative assistant for Chicago Alderman Walter Burnett Jr. She told CBS News, "I'm what it looks like to give someone a fair chance." Bedford became a powerful testimonial about what to do with a second chance, and others took notice. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who hoped to empower other people following prison sentences, appointed Bedford the city's first director of reentry. Now, here's a novel idea. Her work focused on providing support to those who were recently released from jail, and one of her initiatives was to orchestrate a reform of the city's background checks so certain crimes would not automatically disqualify candidates from local jobs. Yes, yes, yes. Pritzker said on CBS News she brings an intelligence and a vigor to this work that I don't think anybody else could. Soon the pair will launch a pilot program that provides childcare, housing, and job training for 100 women recently released from prison. Thank you, Willette. This is what it looks like to do good work in the world, folks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just love how all this can come together, and in such amazing ways. Such amazing ways. Hey, folks, we got to take another quick break. But before we do that, I want to share with you something really, really special that's going on, happening real soon here in September. We're going down to Vegas. Myself, Reverend Elzia, and look at this cast of characters. So many people here that are on the network. Cynthia Breeze on the network. Robin and Gil Olmsted on the network. Sydney Steen, one of our great new friends. Reverend Elzia, myself, and Agape Ministers, Unity Ministers. And to top it all off, we got Gary Lynn Floyd providing the soundtrack. It's Linked in Spirit. Join in the Joy, a New Thought gathering for connection, collaboration, and community. It's happening September 12th through the 14th. It's $100 for the whole weekend. That is something special. Excuse me, $200, $199 for the whole weekend. Did I say? If I said less, I'm sorry. Registration is now open. You can head over to CSL Las Vegas. Let me turn off that banner there. LasVegasCSL.org. Sorry, I want to make sure we don't get that backwards. LasVegasCSL.org. Check that out and check out what's happening. It's going to be hot, hot, hot in the desert. And I'm looking forward to it. I've got a keynote address on Saturday afternoon that I'm really working on. I think you're going to really love it. All right, we got to say hello to a couple more people, and then we'll be back with more good news right after these messages. Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. If you'd like to become part of the New Thought Media Network financial family, head on over to the ntmedia.org. Click on that donate button. Make it a one-time event, or, hey, why not make it a monthly contribution? You can do all of it at one time, schedule those contributions on a monthly basis, become part of our committed giving campaign, and those that are committed to making us a force for good and sharing this message, getting the vibe out, getting these broadcasts out to more and more places around the world. We sure would appreciate your support, and we'll recognize you in our next thank you video. All right, let's get back into some of the good news here. Before the night gets too long, I want to share with you another story. Now, this one, wow. My wife and I have done restaurant work. I know what it's like. I know many of you out there have. And it's often been said, everybody should have to work at a restaurant at some point in their career, just for the experience. Well, this is a great story about a restaurant called Urban Olive and Vine in Hudson, Wisconsin. Now, it's not unusual to be greeted by a teenager taking your order or perhaps delivering your food. Overall, the team is entirely made up of teens, 30 of them to be exact, between the ages of 14 and 18. And that's by design. Owner Chad and Carol Trainer had always believed in giving young people a chance to learn and grow in a real-world environment. But this past year, those teens did more than just show up for work. They actually saved the business. Last September, everything changed when Carol suffered a grand mal seizure right on the restaurant floor in the middle of the evening. She was hospitalized for the next 8 months, and much of it spent in a coma. Chad stayed by her side and traveled back and forth to Minneapolis and nearly had to close the restaurant. Chad told Channel 11 News there in local, "I didn't ask one teenager to do anything extra. They just did it." And that's exactly what happened. The teens took charge from everything from prepping food, training each other, coming in early, covering shifts, managing the inventory, creating the specials, and even keeping Carol's houseplants alive. While Chad, he continued to stop by each morning to handle scheduling. The rest was in the hands of the teams. And in the hands of the team. 17-year-old Acacia Knuckle started arriving at 5:30 a.m. to get ready for the morning. Lily, age 18, said it's a family here now. Carol Carol always offered help. Joe shared with school and with life. So when the trainers needed help themselves, these teens didn't hesitate to step up. Today, Urban Olive and Vine continues to serve its community. It's kept alive by the determination and love of this team of teenagers. Good work, kiddos. Oh my gosh. How much is that? All right. Hey, folks, in our final segment, we often talk a lot about various forms of people doing good. Well, occasionally it's a puppy dog that does some good too. In Pittsburgh, a mysterious dog recently teamed up to save two unconscious individuals in a story that's earned that's earned a lot of attention. Gary Thines shared both on Facebook and to a local news media that he was playing with his dog in the park when a leashed male pit bull arrived without an owner and made what clearly appeared to be a plea for attention. Gary said he would get just close enough where he was out of arm's reach, and he would bark and turn and run a few steps and turn back around. Something put the idea in my head very strongly that this dog wanted me to follow him, so I did. At first, I saw just one gentleman. I tried to get his attention and wake him up, but he was completely unresponsive, Thane said. I didn't even know if he was breathing or not. Then I turned around and saw a pair of legs sticking out of the tent and tried to shake them, and it was a woman who would not respond to me either. Gary was able to call 911, and emergency dispatchers arrived within minutes to take a male and female to the hospital for unconfirmed reasons. As someone in recovery myself that's dealt with something similar, I'm assuming issues that they have. I'm 16 months sober from heroin addiction, and I know how quick you have to react to save someone's life. We didn't know Gary was a recovering addict and recognized the signs. The pit bull, a persistent little puppy, is being given credit for saving these lives as well. Folks, our furry-legged pets, our companions in this world, they do good, and they often save owners' lives as well. And this is another story we found this week. A Labrador usually lets Hank sleep late. Hank is our veteran here. On this day, something was wrong. Tommy is the dog's name, and he'd been with Frank Ford since he was a puppy. He knew his owner was at risk and started nudging Hank with his nose, then pawing at him and jumping on his body. Get up, the dog was screaming. Hank figured the dog needed to go outside a little earlier than normal, but when Frank stood up, he was lightheaded and woozy and started to sense that something was wrong as well. He tried to let his dog out, but Tommy wouldn't budge. It wasn't about that. 54-year-old Frank kept feeling worse and decided to check his vital signs with a blood pressure cuff and was startled to find the results. His pulse was up to a staggering 171 beats per minute. The military veteran who had served for more than 20 years called his local hospital, but they thought his vital readings were obviously wrong. Nothing like not believing the people that are looking for help. He was experiencing AFib, and Tommy, his service dog, is credited absolutely with saving his life. Good boy there, Tommy. Good boy. And hey, folks, sometimes our heroes take the human form too. Stay with us. It's time for our hero of the week. A family in Green Bay is full of gratitude after a man stepped in and risked his life to save their daughter from running into traffic. This heart-stopping moment happened while the Roberts family was moving homes near Bond Street in downtown Green Bay. The children's grandmother, Tynetta Johnson, was helping get the kids into the car when 6-year-old Honoretta suddenly took off. Honoretta, who has autism, often turns running into a game, and this time it led her straight towards danger. She eloped, and she thinks that's funny, said her mother, Faith Roberts. It becomes a game of chase. Well, Johnson recalls the panic she felt as her granddaughter gained distance heading towards the Main Street Bridge. In my mind, I'm thinking there's water over there. There's a bridge over there. There's a busy street over there. And I'm running. She's got a half a block lead on me. And desperate, Grandma calls out for help. Well, someone answered. A man sprinted into the street, stopped traffic, and reached Honoretta just in time. He didn't think about himself. He thought about her. Faith Roberts later identified the man as Weldon, who she learned is currently experiencing homelessness and receives support from the local shelters. Despite his circumstances, Weldon was quick to act and even quicker to brush off the praise. He was just saying he was happy to help, happy I was there. I tried to offer him something, said Roberts, and he said, no, I don't want anything. I'm just happy to help. Weldon, humbled by the attention, simply said, I just do my best, and I hope it's in anybody's situation, something like that, somebody would do the same. Well, the family is sharing his story and hoping more people will recognize the quiet courage of a man they consider a hero, one who didn't hesitate to do the right thing when it mattered most. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being part of the solution and being a good person in the world. You know, folks, it only takes a moment to be a hero in this world. And I trust that if my time came, I would step up and do just as this young man did, any one of us, regardless of the situation. All right, I'm Dr. Robert. I got to get out of here for now, but I want to thank you for being with us. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing here on the New Thought Media Network. Join us tomorrow morning, bright and early, for a New Thought Science, Mind, and Spirit Conversation series. Happens at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And don't forget, in just a half an hour, it's time for our Friday evening fireside chat with Reverend Michael Mangus and his guests and his co-host, Reverend Jeff Radcliffe. Check that out. Happens Friday nights at 6 right here on the New Thought Media Network. Again, I'm Dr. Robert. I got to get out of here for now. Until next time, I wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.